already saw early warning signs that confidence is likely to decline sharply in the manufacturing sector, and the survey results confirmed it. And it wasn't only a case of trouble in the platinum mining sector that affected manufacturing. It is also a case of the weak domestic demand flowing through to the manufacturing sector, and for some or other puzzling reason, exports also underperformed in the second quarter relative to very buoyant fourth quarter last year and first quarter of this year. So part of that underperformance of exports can be related to the rationing of electricity by Eskom of energy-intensive manufacturers. It could also relate to the retooling of one of the vehicle manufacturing plants. But it is still a surprise the world economy hasn't deteriorated that much, or the rand hasn't strengthened that much to justify such a weakening or moderation of exports. I must be clear that it is just a moderation. Manufacturing exports still do relatively well compared to the crisis times in 2008 and 2009, but it is noticeable that it weakened in the second quarter relative to the first quarter of this year.
Yeah, I want to talk about excuse me for a moment. I want to talk about the manufacturing sector in particular. You mentioned it's dropping from 41 to 25. Now, if this sector was supposed to be the one that provides the jobs, that takes care of the unemployment situation in the country, it is worrying that we are at this levels in the manufacturing sector as far as confidence is concerned.
Yes, I cannot have said it better than you have already said it. So if we look for employment opportunities, we may have to look at other sectors of the economy. The services sector, for example, provide job opportunities for people with that are not highly skilled. But manufacturing worldwide has become a sector, and in South Africa, that only attracts highly skilled workers that are quite capital intensive and has to be internationally competitive. If a South African firm is not competitive, somebody else will quickly import the same item for cheaper. So it is, if we look for sectors that employ large numbers of people, it may most likely not come from the manufacturing sector.
George, so confidence among retailers nudged up a bit in this latest Business Confidence Index. It's a bit difficult to understand because you have a struggling consumer at the moment with a tight disposable income. Just explain to us what retailers are thinking about at the moment.
I agree. This is also surprising to me. I initially expected confidence to decline given the trouble we hear about in the unsecured lending market. But the fact that confidence moved up, usually it moves up in parallel with sales. But this time sales remain quite weak as in the first quarter of this year. But what has changed is that many retailers have really gone in and cut costs to the bare bones, and they have improved profitability. We have also seen another interesting development, namely that price increases have moderated quite a bit, and that was also unexpected given the depreciation of the rand. So retailers appear to be making headwinds in this difficult trading environment, and one must remember that there is still a big higher and middle income market that sit with quite strong real disposable income. So they have benefited for years now with low interest rates, and inflation seemed not to have picked up to that extent that it eroded their disposable income.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. We're running out of time. Well, thanks very much indeed. George Kershoff is from the Bureau for Economic Research, joining us from Cape Town.